Use the Force, Luke.
Live long and prosper.
I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
Lilu Dallas Multipass.
Shut up and take my money.
By Grabthar's hammer, what a saving.
One does not simply walk into Mordor.
X never, ever marks the spot.
Winter is coming. You're a wizard, Harry.
Stay a while and listen.
Hey ho, Kermit the Frog here.
Bow ties are cool.
So say we all.
This is a Play on Nerds. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 49 of A Play on Nerds. As always, I'm Steve.
And I'm Jarman.
And we're here to bring you some nerdy fun for the week.
Absolutely. Later on in the show, we're going to be talking all about the new Star Trek show that's been announced with some special guests.
Yeah, we've got Ryan from Positively Nerdy, who you may remember from one of our comic book episodes.
Yeah.
And then Chris from the 10 Forward podcast, which Jarman has been on multiple times, many times.
Yes, too many times.
A badillion times. And we're so happy to have them with us later on.
Absolutely. It was a lot of fun. So we had a great Halloween episode, got some good responses. Our
Damn
villains
right.
episode. So what'd you end up doing for Halloween?
Friggin' nothing.
Oh, man.
Well, Anna had to work. And so, there's only so much fun you can have when she's getting off at like 7.
7, that's so late.
Yeah, it is. No, but we don't go out and party. We had a work event thing on the day before. We got together and drank some holiday flavored beers.
It's always lovely.
Yeah. But no, Anna and I, we watched our 2 favorite scary movies.
Which are?
Anna watched, for Anna, she chose Nightmare Before Christmas. We love it because you can watch it both at Halloween and Christmas.
Yep.
And then another movie that fits that same bill, Gremlins.
Oh, yes.
Horror movie, but also a Christmas movie.
I mean, are either of those really considered scary or horror movies?
Sort of.
They're more fun than scary.
Yeah, but Gremlins has some scary parts.
Yeah, especially the first one
Yeah, the first one's much darker.
than the second one. But the second one's lovely as well.
Yeah. What did you do for Halloween?
I went to a party. I dressed as Dread Pirate Roberts from The Princess Bride because mostly
very
stuff
nice.
I had sitting around.
That's all you need.
All I had to buy was a sword, like a little foam sword. But yeah, went to a party and realizes how adult parties are getting now, them getting closer to 30.
It's so true.
Everyone there's married or has kids or is engaged. And I'm like, I'm the only single person here. Yay. So that's a thing that's happening a lot these days. But it's the state of being 30.
That's
basically.
true.
Yep.
My other weekly updates are, once again, being closer to being 30. So I mentioned before that we inherited the van.
Right.
And now we are dealing with the world of car ownership and car maintenance because it has started making some real scary noises.
Yay. Be prepared to bury thousands of dollars in that vehicle.
Yep. So I read the owner's manual and I put oil in and I put power steering fluid in, which I didn't know was a thing.
Yes, it is.
So I've learned a lot, which is exciting.
And for those of you out there who didn't hear our previous episodes, Steve really didn't start driving till very late in life because he didn't have to for a long time.
Yeah.
So he would know less about cars than most people because he didn't have to.
Yeah, nothing.
He lived in big cities where you have public transportation.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see how that goes. I'll probably have to take him in to see someone.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah, work is getting a little bit easier because for the first time in 2 years, we have a full staff. We aren't in the process of hiring someone. We aren't in the process of somebody changing roles. We actually have a full staff, and it means that I'm having easier days at work.
That's always nice.
Oh, it's been so nice.
Because that's usually the case with big companies. They're usually always understaffed, and they're trying to cut corners and hire less people.
I mean, with us, it's always that someone is transitioning. Someone
All
is
the time.
taking on a bigger role. And so, like, we got to 4 people, and then someone got a promotion. And we were back down to 3.
Gotcha.
And it's just that constant backfill of somebody's moving on to something.
God, I miss our old conversations just about playing Warcraft and, staying up all night playing video games. What happened to that life?
I don't know. We're almost 30, dude. And then on a much also 30 note, it's finally jacket weather here in California.
It's finally jacket weather.
It finally got to a point where I was like, oh, it's cool enough that I may need something light to put on. Maybe a windbreaker.
90 degrees yesterday here in Orlando.
Wow.
90 in November.
It's like highs in the mid 70s during the day and then lows of like the 50s during the night. It's beautiful right now.
You are a lucky man.
Yes.
California, here we
That's
come.
right.
There you go.
So yeah, jacket weather. That's my update for the week.
Thanks, old man.
We're so old.
Well, now let's forget about how old we are for a little while and just talk about some nerdy news.
Nerdy news.
It's time for Nerdy News.
So what do you have for us, Steve? Another name story, perhaps, about bugs?
So I've got two stories. One isn't necessarily news, but it was just so interesting. I'll call my actual story Helmet Head.
Okay.
This Canadian group has been studying bicycle legislature and whether it has an effect on the actual injury level. And they have found that no, it has no effect on the injury level. In places that have bicycle helmet laws, there's just as much injury on bicycles as there is on places that don't have the laws.
Because they're just getting injured somewhere else besides their head, right?
Right. But also that, it shows that children in every province, no matter what, have the same probability of just falling down. I just like that. It just shows that, all kids are dumb and then the exact same amount fall down everywhere.
It still brings me back to that old Seinfeld joke that I love so much.
There are many things that we could point to as proof that the human being is not smart. The helmet is my personal favorite. The fact that we had to invent the helmet. Now, why did we invent the helmet? Well, because we were participating in many activities that were cracking our heads. We looked at the situation. We chose not to avoid these activities, but to just make little plastic hats so that we can continue our head-cracking lifestyles. The only thing dumber than the helmet is the helmet law, the point of which is to protect a brain that is functioning so poorly, it's not even trying to stop the cracking of the head that it's in.
That's human beings for you.
So yeah, that's the news. So don't wear your helmet. Whatever. You have the same chance of hurting yourself. And then I can't remember if I talked about this in previous episodes. So if I have, I just found this though, not too long ago. So this isn't news today, but it was news in 1968. I just found this and it was so interesting. This guy named Albert Decker, who was an actor in a lot of big films, The Wild Bunch, Kiss Me Deadly, East of Eden, a lot of old school Western stuff. He was in it. The Man from U.N.C.L.E., Mission Impossible, the TV series, all over the place. And in 1968, he died. And
You said he died and he laughed. And I was like, that's mean.
Oh, it's so crazy, though. So I'll tell you what I remember.
Sure.
He was found dead in a hotel room with illicit sexual words written on his chest in makeup, strangulated in the bathtub, like wearing lingerie. And they deemed it, and like stuff had been stolen from the hotel room, like money and a watch or something. And they deemed it an accidental death.
What?
Yeah, the cops investigated. They're like, nope, accidental.
Why?
I don't know.
Why did you bring the story up?
It was so good. It was so interesting that it was just like this famous person. If that happened today, it would be all over Twitter.
Oh, of course.
It would be like, but back then they're just like, oh yeah, people were into weird shit. It's accidental death. Don't worry about it. Like,
I guess that's the way to look at it.
It just amazed the hell out of me. Like if they found, like when they found David Carradine, like, self-strangulated in a sexual act, that was enough. If he had like slut written across his chest,
wearing women's lingerie,
yeah, it would have been an even crazier story.
There you have it, folks. The news of the strange and weird from 1968. Our new segment.
There you go.
Our ongoing series.
It was a different time back then. So what's your nerd news?
Well, my nerdy news is, I think I talked about this on a previous episode, but there's been development now. There's a while back, they've had strange readings from a star that was quite far away. I think it's 1,500 light years away. And it had strange structures around the star because they're always looking out for stars to dim, because that means that a planet's passing in front of it. That's how the Kepler and stuff finds planets. But this star was dimming erratically and strangely, and not from a regular, planet going in front of it at a regular pace that they can measure. So they, studied it more, and they've released a press release, I think last week or the week before, saying how they don't know what it is, and it's very abnormal. And they either could be strange comets that are flying around the planet or around the star, or they're saying one of the actual possibilities was that it was part of a Dyson sphere, which is basically a theory about very, very advanced alien technology that would basically surround a whole star and encapsulate it to absorb its power in order to power, multiple planets, because it'd be a ton of energy. And so they said it very well could be, a possibility that for alien life. So they got everyone involved now. They got tons and tons of people with more telescopes being pointed towards it. And I thought this is very strange because they've ruled out entirely that it's aliens simply because they can't detect any kind of radio waves or signals coming from it. And I thought that was just strange because that's like the new news, the new development. Like, oh, well, it's not aliens. It's obviously something strange and natural, but we just don't know what it is yet. I'm like, well, why would you assume that aliens would be sending a signal out, or that we would be able to read what kind of signal they're using, or that it's emitting, So yeah. I thought that was a very weird assumption on their part, just to jump to that, I'm not jumping to the conclusion that it is aliens, but I thought it was strange they just quickly ruled it out just because it's not sending us radio waves like they're playing 1940s radio on this Dyson sphere or something.
Right.
So that's my story. I'm a little upset at scientists for that, but I'm glad they're still studying it a little bit.
Yeah. Either way, whatever it ends up being, it's still going to be interesting.
Absolutely. If it's a natural phenomenon we don't know about yet, that's pretty cool too.
Well, good. Nerd news.
Nerdy news. So now we're going to jump into our segment all about Star Trek and introduce our lovely guests.
And now to start our main feature, our main segment of the show. Once again, we have special guests Ryan from Positively Nerdy and Chris from 10 Forward. And we are going to talk all about the new Star Trek show that has just been announced, who's going to be involved, and then our wild, unrealistic speculations of what it could be about.
Woo! And Ryan is from the Positively Nerdy podcast. Welcome, Ryan.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me back.
Absolutely. Yeah, you were on our comic book episode quite a long time ago.
I was.
That was lovely. I like that episode. And also, Chris is from the 10 Forward podcast. Welcome, Chris.
What is this Star Trek thing that you're talking about?
That's true. You're in the Star Wars zone right now, aren't you?
I am in the Star Wars zone. Yes, I am staying on target.
Staying on target.
And as Porkins so rightly put it, I'm okay.
Very nice. And then he died.
Yeah, no, he didn't. Porkins lives.
Oh, that's right.
Porkins lives. So we decided it. We decided it. The last podcast I recorded, I think.
Hashtag Porkins lives.
Hashtag Porkins lives. Yeah, Porkins will make an appearance in the new Star Wars movie. Hang on, we're going off topic. Star Trek. Yeah,
right.
New stuff and things.
So let's delve into it. Let's talk about this crazy new show coming up for CBS All Access. First, what do you guys think of that craziness, the CBS All Access thing?
I was going to say, I think Chris is a good example of why they're doing All Access, is so they'll have a much stronger international presence.
Oh, that makes sense.
I will not be able to sign up for CBS All Access.
Wow. So what are they going to... They probably have some other service over there?
They will have international launch partners. So it will more than likely be a European-only on-demand service, which there is very few. There's one called Blinkbox, which is most likely where it's going to end up. But I will end up pirating it because that's what I do. I can't even think of a show that's on CBS.
Because you don't even have CBS.
Because I don't have CBS, Yeah. So I don't know what their kind of their stable of shows is. If you ask me what HBO's stable of shows is, I know what that is because I steal all of their stuff.
They'll have like Sky on Demand or something that they'll create just for Star Trek.
Well, there Sky on Demand does exist, but
I just made that up.
Yeah, but it's one of those things that you get it free when you have a subscription to Sky. So it works like HBO Go. You know, you pay your money and then you've got access to shows before or after they're shown on the internet and stuff
so
like that.
Sky is a premium channel over there?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Sky is a satellite broadcasting service. So you pay for a dish and like you would do with cable, you pay a subscription.
Okay, because we used to work with Sky News when I worked at CNN, but I just assumed that was just like a cable channel or something.
Sky News is free to air now, but it wasn't at the time for a while. It's free to air on standard cable or any digital television TV that you've got. You can watch it on. But I think like our other ones are Love Film is our main streaming service, which is owned by Amazon. So, you know, I don't think CBS is going to go, here, Amazon, have some of our money.
Yeah.
And I don't
True.
and Netflix is the other one, and there is like a third, Blinkbox, which I would imagine is going to be where they're going to show it. Or they might show it first run on one of the TV channels over here.
That's true. It's possible.
It's possible.
I'm of the opinion that it's a long time away and they're having enough backlash that they're not going to do that. And they're going to air it also on television. I'm hoping for that, but I'm thinking that may happen.
Well, you can package it in a way like you're a Star Trek fan. You want to watch this show. You want to watch it the very first moment that you possibly can. Sign up for CBS Action and you can watch it, you know, the very first, you know, as soon as we've got it finished, basically, you can start watching it. If you're not that much of a fan, we'll show it on CBS in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, and give people the choice of what they, you know, whether you're that much of a diehard fan or not. But I mean, the strange thing is, the only thing I can think of that's a parallel over here is Breaking Bad, because Breaking Bad didn't have a UK distributor for first run showing. When the last half of the last series came out, Netflix showed it the same time as it was being shown in the States over here. Straight streaming, no advertisements, nothing like that. And they made megabucks over here because people signed up for it. Because they wanted to watch Breaking Bad, you know, as soon as possible, and there was no other way of watching it over here. Without having to steal it off the internet. So, I mean, that might be an interesting thing if somebody does manage to get the rights to do a streaming service that you've got to pay for over here. It might make gangbusters. Or people might just go, Star Trek.
And I've learned so much about how British entertainment works.
That's true. It's a different world over there, it seems.
It is.
It is a different world over here. It's absolutely, it's bananas. It really is. It's crazy. I mean, the one thing that they might do using this, you know, first run on demand sort of thing is it might free their hands up to not do things in the most trying to get the biggest audience kind of way, if you know what I mean. They might not go for the lowest common denominator of having to get asses on seats at 8:30 on a Friday night or whenever the hell they're trying to show it.
That's true. And it might make it a more story-driven show that doesn't have as much money.
Or it might focus it down so that you're in a position where they can set it in I won't go into details or anything like that, but they can set it at a particular time in a particular time in a timeline in a universe that's specific to something that Star Trek fans will understand, but other people might not. If you know what I mean. So we're in the Prime universe, but it's before the destruction of Vulcan. Before the destruction of Romulus, or whatever it might be, you know?
Just as long as it's on a Captain Morph series, I'll be happy.
You know,
yes, accurate. All right, so now that we've learned all about British entertainment, let's start talking some heavy Star Trek.
That's a big portion of...
That's what we came here.
Absolutely.
Gentlemen.
But the distribution, though, you're absolutely right, though, is going to affect what kind of show it's going to be. So that is kind of important. I didn't really think about that aspect because... depending on who they're marketing it to, will be a very different show each time. But instead of big, you know, focusing on special effects or something, they won't have that kind of budget if they're going to go just to an on-demand kind of show. It might just be maybe a procedural, or who knows. But anyways, so where do you want to jump in first?
I think who's going to be the captain on
Go
this
right
new
for
show? That's a big question.
True. I mean, I have like my whole dream cast set up, so I don't know if we want to do like one at a time, or we all just want to give our
who's your new dream?
Or we want to give our dream casts all at once, or how do you want to go about that?
I did not Dreamcast, so...
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I also did not Dreamcast. Although I did own a Dreamcast.
See, Jarman, you're the weird one.
My only caveat is I don't want this to be the Starship CW. I want them to be older, established, not necessarily recognizable, but I don't want this to basically be, I guess the knock on JJ Trek is that they're all way too young to be senior officers on a starship. I want to believe that these people have been in Starfleet and are the creme de la creme, whether it's the Enterprise or another ship, that I believe from the get-go that these people deserve to be on the ship and the stories that we're going to be following.
Oh, absolutely. And I think I might as well just go ahead and read my Dreamcast for you guys, because that plays right off what he just said.
Yeah, go ahead.
And we'll just tell you where you're wrong.
Yeah,
That's
and then
fine.
we can get everyone's captain. At least we can get your captains after this. Okay, so my captain, so strange pick, but I picked Rachel Weisz. Do you all know who that is?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Because her movie career is fledgling a little bit as of late, as compared to before. So I think that she might actually accept a role like this. And I think she's a great, strong female actress. I think she could really handle it. She's British, so it would remind me of Captain Picard, which is great. But I think it's a fiery, petite British woman would be awesome as a captain. First officer, Giancarlo Esposito, who you may know from Breaking Bad. He played the guy who ran the chicken stores, the very scary villain character for 2 seasons. He also played Tom Neville on Revolution. He plays the Mirror in Once Upon a Time. Anybody ringing a bell?
Oh, yeah.
I know who he is, yeah.
You had me at Once Upon a Time.
He's really intense actor. Engineer would be Lance Reddick. Anybody know who that is? He was in Fringe. He's also in The Wire. He played the leader of the group in The Wire. Anybody?
Nope.
Jarman, you're killing
See, I'm
us
picking
here.
actors that might actually take these jobs because
he's saying what I was thinking, but I don't know who they are.
So this isn't your Dreamcast. This is like the people you've settled for because people you really want just won't do a Star Trek show.
Oh, I know that guy. I just looked him up.
Yeah, if you look
I
at
know
my
that guy.
IMDb, Giancarlo Esposito is a fantastic actor in Breaking Bad. So this is still my Dreamcast because I think this would make a very solid.
Lance Reddick seems more like a bad guy to me, though.
He could, but I also see him as playing a good, not villain, but a good Vulcan. He could make a very good Vulcan character, I think, because he's very serious, very kind of stiff kind of actors, but he's fantastic in The Wire. Now, here's where it's a little different. You need some comedic relief because these are all very serious, very intense actors. So you have the science officer as Josh Gad.
Oh, jeez.
Now, he had a failed series with called The Comedians with what's his name?
Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal, thank you. So I think he's up for doing something else because his movie career isn't jumping off like he probably hoped after Let It Go or all that jazz. What is it?
Frozen.
Yeah. I can't think of anything today, apparently. So I think he might do it, and he'd be a good kind of comedic relief, but not too off the line goofy. Now, for the Doctor, I put Grant Bowler. Did any of you watch Defiance, the TV show? Yes. He is a great Australian actor, and he was also in, I believe it was Babylon 5. He had a small part, and he's probably been in some older Star Trek episodes before, but he's a good kind of comedic, but also kind of like Bones kind of actor. So
I was going to say very Bones-esque there.
Exactly. That kind of works. And for security officer, I put Stephanie Leonidas, who is his co-star in Defiance as well. So she's really good, really intense. She could be a little fiery.
Which one? Who is she in Defiance?
She plays his daughter in Defiance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And for the helm, just because I love her, I put Felicia Day because I want her to be in something. So what are your thoughts on that cast, people? Yeah, I guess you didn't know half of them. So
No, I think it's great. No, I do agree with you that that they need to be a little bit recognizable, but they can't have a set character past.
Or like can't be a giant star because they probably won't take it.
Right.
Well, after saying that list, have you guys thought of any of the people that... Oh, God, you have a captain, don't you, Steve?
No.
Then why'd you ask about captains?
Because I thought that Star Trek people would have things to say about it.
I guess I spent all my time thinking about, Prime Universe or JJ Universe or like Timeline and spin-offs and things like that. I didn't really think, because cast to me, I'll nitpick it once they decide. But
well, if we're just spitballing here, what would you guys say? Who are some people that you'd like to see in the show, at least in some kind of role?
Get John Luke back. That's what I want.
I like Gus Fring in there. I like that.
Yeah,
somewhere.
absolutely.
I like that. I don't know. Other people.
You mentioned Fringe. John Noble as the evil admiral would be awesome.
Oh yeah. John Noble would be great in any kind of role.
Well, anytime you have John Noble, it's awesome. But he'd be good as that evil admiral that keeps popping up.
Also, a lot of people out on the internet are mentioning Viola Davis as a captain. I think she'd be great. I just don't think she'd do it. I think she's already doing a TV show now, How to Get Away with Murder, and she's also in the Suicide Squad. She's playing that character,
Amanda Waller.
Thank you. So yeah, I don't think she'd do it, but I think she'd be great.
I want it to be an alien captain.
What kind of alien?
I don't know.
Like a blue one, an Andorian, or
like a blue one with
a
fish shit
Bolian.
on it. Well, there's has to be one like that.
The Bolian I love from TNG, the barber. He should just have his own ship now. Make a whole show around him.
It's the barber ship. They have to go around. You don't go to the barber anymore. The barber comes to you.
It's all about them flying to dangerous locations, giving people haircuts.
So it's going to be called Star Trek : Mott.
That was his name.
And the nacelles can look like the old barbershop pools. They'll just spin.
Yes.
No, that's terrible.
That is awful.
Here's a question for the Star Trek people.
Oh no.
If you could have any one character from one of the old shows, for some reason inexplicably be in this new show, who would it be?
That's a good question.
Well, I guess it depends on. Obviously, it depends on new Trek, old Trek.
Just inexplicably.
I don't care if he's playing Sulu or not, but they need to get George Takei in this.
Oh, that's great.
I don't care if he's playing Sulu or not. Takei needs to be in it. I don't care if it's an episode. I don't care if it's recurring. He needs to be involved.
He could play Sulu's like grandson or something.
Yeah, I mean, we know that Sulu had a daughter, inexplicably, but I just would like to see him involved, and I think too, as far as him being such a great advocate of gay rights, if we don't get a gay captain, we're getting a prominent gay character.
That's true.
Star Trek is always kind of led the charge with that kind of stuff. And with everything now, that there's no way that I don't see them capitalizing, if that's probably the wrong way to put it. But they will, if it's not a gay captain, it'll be another character that's prominent or otherwise LGBT.
And of course, if they're smart, they won't make that a prominent issue. It'll just be a fact that character's
No, it'll be
gay.
the internet's job to make that a prominent issue.
Tumblr's job, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be there.
Exactly.
And I'm not complaining. I think it's great, but just throwing that out there.
I mean, they've commented that even back in the late 90s and early 2000s, how they were surprised there still wasn't a gay character on Star Trek.
I was gonna say they flirted with it with Dax, kind of, sort of, just by the nature of Trills, but
yeah.
For all the other barriers that Trek has shattered, that's not been one of them.
Because it was still just a hot lesbian kiss scene that, so they didn't count that one.
Exactly.
Yeah, you missed out on that, Steve, not watching all the Star Trek.
But you're right, it doesn't count if two girls are just curious. It doesn't count.
That wasn't quite what it was, but it was fun. But yeah, I'm trying to think of what character I'd want. I mean, I'd like the idea of Sulu in some form on the show, but you could have a Dax symbiote could be around. If it's even 100 years in the future, it could be another form of Dax.
That is cool.
So,
well, I mean, if it's in the new timeline, bring Data back.
Yeah, it could B4 could be around. That's right.
Damn right.
I think the world's clamoring for some Alexander. We need to find a way to get him on the show.
So Steve might not know this, but Alexander is Worf's child, and the child actor who played him actually went on to be like a delinquent and like got arrested like 15 times for drugs and stuff. So I don't think we'll have him back. But maybe
we just bust him and Jennifer Lean out of jail.
Oh God!
And
Star Trek convicts.
Star Trek crazy.
Star Trek 48 hours.
There you go.
Oh man,
I want the Cisco to come back. He's a god. He's floating around and doing wormhole alien kind of stuff. He can pop up anywhere.
Yeah.
And he looks the same. The actor.
Pretty much.
He's still crazy.
He's still crazy. He might look like he's been inside a wormhole for a few years. So there you go. That's
maybe have him come out being a crazy doctor or something, because he's got he'll have crazy hair.
Actually, Cisco.
Oh, I know. I'm saying
character.
He'll come out and he'll suddenly be a crazy doctor.
yeah. Channeling his professor from Back to the Future style.
Exactly.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Because I don't even know if he can handle like a regular role anymore because he's so odd. But I actually saw him live on stage in a one-man show. He was playing an old jazz musician. And he did a very good job. It was actually very good. There's only a little bit of the crazy leaking through. So that was before his DUI. So anyway,
we're ignoring the elephant in the room. This is obviously going to be a series that focuses on Captain Wesley Crusher, right? So.
Oh, yes. I'd watch that show.
Yeah. A lot of nerds.
Do you think they'll do a legacy character, though? Do you think we'll have somebody's offspring just as a tie to
at least
what's come before?
At least as a guest character. I mean, I'd like that if it at least was a guest character. I don't need for it to be a main character, but I don't know.
Because when are we assuming, if somebody's thought about when this is taking place, right? What is everybody's thoughts on that? I'm taking over as the host. I apologize. But.
No, we're all hosting together. Yeah, that's a good question because we have JJ Verse to contend with now.
Well, I think to ignore JJ Verse would be foolish.
It's apparently is completely unrelated to Star Trek, the 3 movies that are on the 2 that are done and the one that's on the go. Whether unrelated means not connected in any way whatsoever, or just has no part in that particular movie, I don't know.
The initial press release just said new ship and new crew.
And then it at least said it wasn't related to Star Trek Beyond.
Yeah.
The movie coming out soon.
I would imagine we're going back to the Prime Universe.
Yeah. It'd be kind of cool if the opening shot of the new show is watching Spock go into the wormhole and then right where he left the Prime Universe and then just continuing it in the Prime Universe from that point on.
I've been clamoring for that story, if not a whole series on it, is what happened. They had to have looked for Spock, right?
The Search for Spock Part 2.
Star Trek, The Long Search for Spock.
Essentially, yes, but everybody knows who Spock is. So you have people, their first mission, the pilot, whatever you want to call it, go, what happened to Ambassador Spock? And you can talk about Spock all the time without having to worry about ever showing him. Because he's not coming back. And that can be the catalyst. That's something that's going to get JJ Trek fans on board. That's something that's going to get Prime Trek fans on board. But again, you never have to worry about actually having that reveal. You can just talk about it, which might put some people off, I guess. But
no, I'd like that idea.
Seems like a good starting point, at least.
And that would tie together, like you said, tie together the 2 universes very well and make everyone kind of mostly happy.
Because there has to be somebody going, what happened to Spock? And then we can kind of just go from there.
Like I guess they wouldn't make a full-fledged, whole crew go after him for a long period of time because he's just one guy. But because I was thinking you could have them try to follow him through the wormhole to get him, but then that could be Star Trek Multiverse where they go through all the different universes. That's every episode it's like Sliders. Yeah, it's like Sliders.
And I friggin' love Sliders.
Jerry O'Connell as the captain.
Holy crap. And his brother as the Kama.
That's right. That was so weird how they just recasted that show with his brother when the other guy got tired of it.
Oh yeah, they just gave up after a while.
But anyways, outside of Star Trek Sliders, all right. So Chris, what a time period would you want to be set in?
Well, I think that they would probably try to steer clear of anything in the new universe because you end up crippling yourself. If it's set, well, not crippling yourself, but you know what I mean. When they do something in that universe and then the next Star Trek movie comes out and it doesn't tie in exactly with what's happened before, nerds lose their shit. So it will be they'll pick up the movie franchise and put it to one side. Not go anywhere near it. So I think the obvious place to set it would be bridging the gap between the destruction of Romulus and working from there, I would say. But I mean, they could, in theory, just carry on from where Voyager left off. Just go there. If they're gonna dabble in the Prime universe, you could just start from there. You know, you're not duty bound to see Janeway and all those other people. Or 100 years forward from that, I don't know when Romulus actually got destroyed in the Prime universe timeline.
Yeah, they don't always say, do they?
How
Yeah.
long after the end of Voyager is that? You know, is it 50 years? Spock's still alive, so it can't be, too far away.
Because what's the lifespan of a Vulcan? Like 200 years, maybe?
Yeah, I think the top end be 200 years. So that would make sense. I mean, that's the clean way to do it, is to either go from the exact point of Romulus being destroyed or pick up slightly after, because there's a big story to be told afterwards.
Yeah, and actually, you could have all the situation with Remus and how they could be all displaced now and causing havoc throughout the galaxy.
Yeah.
So that could be the main enemy, would be the Remans and other rogue Romulans. So that'd be kind of cool.
I mean, you would imagine, even though it doesn't get mentioned because Remus is a throwaway planet from a
throwaway movie.
Throwaway movie, yeah. That was the word I was looking for a throwaway movie. You would imagine that Remus is destroyed as well because it's right next door, and it was a very large wormhole, black hole type thing that was sucking the planet in. So you'd imagine it'd be gone as well. So you have got a large set of displaced people looking for a place in the universe. That would be
probably
an interesting,
very angry.
Probably very angry, yeah.
I do like the idea of a bunch of rogue Romulans. I mean, it's not very Star Trek-y to say we're going to go hunt them all down, but makes for interesting TV.
Yeah, or at least stop the havoc that they're causing. Like maybe kind of a police ship, if you will. Tasked with like stopping all the trouble they're causing.
Star Trek cops.
CSI, Star Trek.
That's what I was actually considering that being one real possibility that they
that
could
is a
make this
CBS show.
It is a CBS show. So that's where all the CSIs live. So it might happen. CSI Space.
Now, drifting off topic, but did I not see the other day when I was looking on some entertainment site that there's CSI Cyber?
There was for a time?
There is.
Sure.
Not only were there many CSIs, I think they're all finished now, but there's CSI Cyber. So do they solve crimes on the internet? Because that would be amazing. There's just a guy sat in a lazy boy with a laptop there, and you just watch him solve crimes on the internet for half an hour or an hour, however long the show is.
Hey, sometimes he has to take half-hour shit breaks because of his diet.
Exactly. Yeah, because all he eats is Cheetos and Mountain Dew. So
yeah, I watch that.
But I'm just thinking, like, that could be me. If you paid me money to sit on a computer solving crimes, I'd do that all day.
Maybe that's what it's the Dawson. That's James Vanderbeek is the star of that show. I'm looking it up right now. So the Dawson is sitting on the couch doing just that. It's basically the Warcraft episode of South Park, except crime and not Warcraft.
I love that episode.
Amazing.
Oh God. Well, no,
and Ted Danson's in this one too.
Oh, that's the one he's in. Okay. Yeah, because I remember thinking I can't
and
believe
Peter McNichol. Oh my God, I might have to watch this show. Peter McNichol's in it.
He's great. What's the name of the guy?
He should be on the next Star Trek series.
Yeah, he'd be a good fit.
He'd be the
Danson
doctor.
As the
he'd
new
be my
captain.
Peter. There we go. I'm casting Peter McNichol as my doctor.
There you go. I like that.
Vehicle. The casting could be quite interesting because they managed to get like Matthew Mahogany, and I called him Mahogany on purpose, and Woody Harrelson to do a TV show. They might go, and now introducing our new captain, George Clooney, and everyone will go like thunk, jaws on the floor. What?
I actually saw something about that recently, or listened to an actress talking about being on one of those shows that does that, where every season they change
one season
cast.
commitment. Yeah,
and so that's how they can get big stars, is they say it's just a one season commitment. And so if they had a Star Trek where it's like the story changed every season, like it's an anthology kind of show thing, I mean, that could work, because that way you could get bigger stars. So you could have Clooney captain for one season. Or McConaughey, Mr. Mahogany, captain for one season. Let's go into space. All right.
All right.
I don't want him captaining my ship, but I wouldn't be upset if he was in the engine room.
But they take you into a wormhole and you never come out.
That's
because
true.
yeah, Interstellar.
Legit.
But Scott Bakula's on one of those crime shows. He's on NCIS something.
How many naval crimes can there be?
I know. Well, how are there so many crimes about naval things?
Because people that go into the armed forces end up fucked up.
I guess that's true. Anyways, what were we talking about?
I don't know. Which point were we on?
I think the last legit question was asking Chris when it'll take place.
Yeah, and I gave a nebulous answer.
And brought us all the way around to that.
Yeah.
So you said when, but then you said where, Steve? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, where? I know they said a new ship, but are we talking, is it going to be a space station situation?
They got to be on a ship. I know DS9 is beloved by Chris and by
They've
many
never
people,
really
but I think they have to be on a ship. Give us a new ship, give us a new design, give us a new thing to be excited about, and let us go anywhere and do anything.
You see, I think you're right. It needs to be a ship, and unfortunately, I believe that it needs to be called Enterprise.
Okay.
I hate that you're right.
I don't want to be right. I want it to be the USS Darth Maul, but it's not going to be. It's going to be the Enterprise NCC 1701 dash whatever the hell it is, whatever letter we're up to now, or where up to it when they start doing it. But it will be the Enterprise because that's the draw. People know that it's the USS Enterprise. They would have serious problems if they try to present a product to somebody and say, no, it's not the Enterprise. It's not. It's the USS Batman.
I would watch the USS Batman, though.
People would tune into USS Batman.
I could see them not doing it, though, because kind of like that new show Supergirl, that's actually on CBS as well. The opening, the previews, and then the opening episode are all about how you kind of have mentions of Superman, but you never see him. So they could have a very low-level ship that is in reverence of the actual Enterprise that's out there, the flagship of the fleet, but we're just this little scuttlebutt ship that goes around collecting garbage or something. I don't know. That'd be an awful show. But
is there going to be a pack lid on this new ship?
Yes, and it's played by Ron Perlman.
Ron Perlman is far too tall to be a pack lad. He's a huge man.
Make things go.
Yeah.
Danny DeVito is a pack lid.
Danny DeVito.
No, I'm just thinking it's Ron Perlman and Machete as pack lads. As a terrible two, Danny Trejo stood side by side, going, "We are smart.
We make things go."
Towering the fuck over everybody.
That'd be awesome. And they're garbage collectors. That's what the show is all about. Star Trek Machete. We're coming up with some gems here, folks. I hope CBS is listening.
On the Enterprise. I think Chris is right, unfortunately, because whether we download it, as a friend of mine called this new series Star Trek Into Download, or we do it legit, they know their target audience is coming in, but CBS is thinking bigger than that. So you need a name like Enterprise or Sulu or Crusher or whatever you're going to do to draw in everybody else. And you're going to have a problem doing that if it's the USS, Batman or whatever we want to call it. But then you have a bunch of Star Trek authors that are chomping at the bit to tell the story of where Picard and everybody went now that they're not on the Enterprise anymore. So
yeah, because if it is set even 30 years later, you have the opportunity of using all those actors for guest stars and stuff. But if you set it 100 years in the future, then you can't use any of them. So
you got to keep it open to guest stars. You've got to have that.
Yeah, that'd be shooting themselves in the foot if they set it way too far in the future and they can't use any of those actors anymore.
Although in this new corporate world that we live in, I wouldn't be too surprised if it was called the USS Pepsi Max.
Pepsi Clear or something.
USS Pepsi.
It finally works in the future.
They finally got it right. Good for them.
Only if they can call it the USS Pepsi Max, as long as they all have uniforms where they look like NASCAR drivers and is just littered with sponsorship.
Just patches all over it.
A baseball cap with more names of companies on it than you could possibly imagine.
Exactly. And this beam up has been brought to you by Skittles.
Hurry and beam me up! I'm about to die. Can you taste the rainbow, Captain? Wow, another awful version that we should hopefully never see.
We're basically we're trying to lower the bar here because let's face it, a segment of fans, half, a little more, a little less, are going to be upset by what they decide to do because it's either going to wipe out the books or it's not going to be about this character or it's not going to be about this universe. This is not, I mean, as excited as people are about Star Wars right now, there's a whole legion of fans that are super pissed off that it's not Grand Admiral Thrawn and all these other things that are in 20 years worth of expanded universe fiction. Like, you're not going to make everybody happy. So if we have the USS Batman and beam ups brought to you by Skittles, whatever CBS delivers is going to be better in comparison. So we're here to lower the bar.
That's right. Because we want USS Mzadi and have it be aging love scenes from
no clothes.
Riker
no one wears
and Troy.
any clothes on this starship.
It's an unrated show, and it's everyone's nude on the ship, and it's just nude sex scenes with like 65-year-old Jonathan Frakes and Marina Sirtis.
Yeah, try doing the Picard maneuver with no.
Well, I mean, for CBS's general age bracket, that would probably be okay.
That's true. It's in the age bracket of CBS.
Like, yeah, that's what they're gonna do.
But
they're
it's all access.
like ages 60 to 70s. So I mean,
we don't know CBS, but my dad could fill a whole podcast talking about all the shows he watches on CBS.
Exactly.
Just being a show called Star Trek Knitting, and just a bunch of grandmas sitting in space.
Star Trek 60 Minutes. Anyway,
Star Trek Murder, She Wrote. Bam.
So I will bring up the thing that was pissing everybody off initially, which I didn't completely agree with, which was the person spearheading this show, which is Alex Kurtzman.
Kurtzman, yeah.
And everyone was like, "Oh, he's going to ruin it. So crappy." And I'm like, he's done a lot of good shows, so I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, yes, he's done some crap too, but it's kind of a crapshoot. He's done good and bad. So what do you guys think of Kurtzman?
I mean, I looked at his roster and I think I trust him to make a Star Trek show. Yeah, he'll do it.
I like New Trek. The shows that he helps out with on CBS, I don't watch them, but they're all very well regarded, do well with ratings, do well with my dad, who's also a Star Trek fan. So I guess let's roll with it. Nobody's perfect. And again, you're not going to make everybody happy. They could have had somebody everybody loves, whose name I can't think of all of a sudden, do it, and somebody would still find a way to be upset with it. So
Ronald D. Moore.
There you go.
Is that your thing?
I was just meant to generically, like, they could have picked Jesus, and somebody still would have been upset. So can't please everyone.
I mean, yeah, he did Fringe. I love Fringe.
Right? There you go.
He was showrunner.
Wait, Jesus did Fringe?
In effect, Jesus did all the shows, Steve.
How did I miss that?
Let there be a good show with sci-fi themes. Okay, but Alex Kurtzman also did some writing for Xena and Hercules. I mean, you can't beat that.
Well, those shows aren't good. I watched the hell out of them when I was younger, but I wouldn't call them good.
Because they're entertaining. But Fringe was a very smart show, and it just didn't really go where you wanted it to, but it was a smart, fun, good
and
sci-fi
Hercules
show,
had Tony Katane in it, so there you go.
That name I don't know.
Ah, you're so young.
I watched Hercules all the time as a kid.
Here's his wife.
I watched a lot of Xena.
AKA the girl who was crawling all over Whitesnake's car in the Here I Go Again video.
Gotcha.
See, I know her from that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where I know her from, too. I also watched a lot of Kung Fu The Legend Continues back then. It's a good show.
Well, if we're just going to talk about old shows we like, then that's Briscoe County Jr., anyone? All right.
That's another good one. Chris, Kurtzman, thoughts?
He's a TV showrunner. That's for sure. I think it's a sensible choice. You know, you could have pie in the sky dreams of I want to see a Vince Gilligan, Star Trek show or a Brian Fuller Star Trek show, but sometimes the show is bigger than the person that you have running it, if you catch my drift. So Kurtzman's just a good, sensible choice. We know that he's the one. It was him and Bob Ortu that actually liked Star Trek, wasn't it? Of the guys who wrote the first two movies.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
they weren't wishing they were doing Star Wars instead. Exactly.
So I mean, although when you love something, it can end badly. At least least I can be safe in the knowledge that he knows how to run a television show. It's not his first rodeo, and he loves the source material that he's going to be trying and expanding on. So it's a sensible choice. Although, outside of the box thinking might have been more interesting, it probably wouldn't work.
More dangerous.
You know what I mean? A Vince Gilligan Star Trek series would be harsh and gritty and dusty and grey, and I would love it because I like I love Deep Space Nine, so I'd be like, yeah, that's awesome, but it wouldn't work. It wouldn't sell to anybody other than me. And I want them to make it now. Fuck the lot of you. I want that one.
Fair enough. Be greedy.
Yeah.
No, good point. And I think I don't think he's not going to be writing every episode either. He's just going to be a showrunner who'll hire good people and make it good. I mean, that's the idea. He won't try to make it bad on purpose. So, and I think what you said at the beginning of our recording about having more control over it than making like a studio picture will be better for this show because it won't be on primetime television. It'll be on some streaming service, so he has more control to do what he wants. So I think that's a good thing.
He's also not tied down to having to have, in a 60-minute show, he's not tied down to having 55 minutes of action.
Yeah, exactly.
He can, if it's a Star Trek show, you're going to have the occasional episode where nothing really happens and they just sit around and talk. And that's the kind of episodes that are going to be worth watching, And
that's probably why his TV shows have been a lot better critically than his movies, because he's just not good at writing compacted movies.
Maybe, you don't know what the writing relationship's like between the three guys when they sit down in a room. Maybe Kurtzman writes all the brilliant dialogue that everybody, the jokes and stuff that everybody really enjoys, but they're trying to, I still think that both the Star Trek movies, even though I really, really enjoy them, and I think that they're, they hold up very well against the rest of the Star Trek universe, they are incredibly compressed storytelling because there has to be a certain quota of time spent on screen where people are running or punching each other.
Hell, even Into Darkness, I felt there wasn't any time to breathe in that movie. I was just like, geez, it just keeps going. Action. Like, give me some time to breathe.
So I think maybe the sort of transition into having more space to breathe for him in the writing and more space to breathe with the actual show itself might lend itself to being a little bit more cerebral than like 90 minutes of running around going ah.
Yeah, but I like those movies.
Well, that's what I asked you, Steve. As a person who's not a huge Trekkie, but you've seen a fair amount of Trek, and you've seen the new movies, right? Both of them.
Yes, of course.
So, first of all, how do you feel about the new movies, and then second of all, what would make you watch a Star Trek series coming at it now, having the experience you have now?
Well, I mean, as someone who didn't grow up on it, Star Trek seems a little bit unapproachable versus as like a series, as opposed to a 2-hour movie, which I can digest. And so I think that's really where they scored the new fanship of the new series, was with people that couldn't approach it before. And my money says, and I know that, you guys are pretty hardcore Star Trek fans. Those fans are the ones they're really going to be reaching out to. Because those are the fans that spend money and have cable.
Cable.
I would love to say that they're really going to play to the nerds, but that's never the case. It's just not.
So they're reaching out to the new fans, you're saying?
Yes, that is my anticipation of the new show. All the action and stuff that you hate is going to be every friggin' week. Scenes like the one you described, unless they're in like an Aaron Sorkin show, are dead.
Well,
and I'm sorry.
No, I think
in general, or
Steve's right. Television in general has changed so much since Enterprise was the last one. Even Enterprise started to get into the way TV is now. That you need to, I mean, the days of, well, I guess the latter half of Deep Space Nine would fall into this, but the days of Voyager and Next Generation, where you can watch or not watch from week to week, that does not exist anymore in television.
No,
you need to watch every single episode, and you got to watch it when it comes out, or else somebody's going to spoil it for you. Like, Walking Dead or Game of Thrones or something, that you're going to have cliffhangers every week. You're going to have action, dramatics, all that kind of stuff. The examination of the human condition hopefully doesn't fall too far by the wayside.
I would say longer term story arcs also.
Yep.
Yeah. You mentioned that with Next Generation, everything's very compact. I would see, in Walking Dead, there's typically like 6 to 8 episode story arcs. And they sort of finish something up and they start something new.
I'd really like that, but like you're saying, Ryan, as long as they keep, the human condition aspect of it and just more intellectual storylines, I'm okay with that as long as there's some feeling of the old Trek at least.
And I understand why you can't do it in the movies. I mean, you only have 2 hours, but you're back on TV now. It needs to kind of go back to its roots, so to speak. Hopefully.
Yeah. The new movies are basically the 3 Ps, pretty people punching.
Right?
I'm trying to think of, I think Vince Gilligan would have been great. That would have been fun. The really gritty Star Trek.
Yeah. Like the captain is dying the whole of the show. Slowly dying from, some tropical STD. And I bet he's trying to find redemption through selling meth. I don't know.
Space meth.
Followed very closely by the very the highly successful space prostitutes.
Orion slave girls.
Yeah, there you go. No, he's every week he chips off a little bit of the dilithium crystals to like make some space drug out of it, and then eventually the ship breaks down because there's not.
And
they
come down,
left.
they find where he's been burrowing and chipping.
He's got the purest stuff in the quadrant, man.
He has a breakdown. He makes a run for it.
He's
shoving dilithium into his mouth,
making shady deals with Ferengis in the background.
It's mine.
The ship's doctor has actually got a fake doctor's diploma on his wall, and he's just a Saul Goodman analog.
No, he turns around and he consults that damn program all the time, and that's the character you can get back. Because what's he doing?
Oh, Robert Picardo.
Which one? Oh,
yeah,
right,
Robert Picardo. What the hell is he doing? Get him back.
No, it makes the show even worse. We'll have Kevin James be the security officer, be Paul Blart, space cop.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
Not only would I not watch that, I don't know that I could ever watch Trek again if Kevin James was involved in this.
Star Trek Blart.
We need to get Whoopi Goldberg back in there somehow too. I think.
Yep.
Oh,
not sure how.
We would want her in there.
They live forever. That could totally
happen.
Still
just serving space cocktails.
That'd be great.
And giving questionable advice.
She is responsible for the Borg being a threat still. She's the one that talks Picard out of it.
That's true.
It's all her fault.
It's all Guinan's fault.
It's just, we have a new series all about the Alarians. That's her race, right?
Then you can have Malcolm McDowell come back too. Hey.
Yeah, just have them going to battle with the Borg.
I hope the Borg are back in whatever they do.
As a total Star Trek nerd, this would not appeal to anyone else but maybe Cena and anybody else who likes Voyager. Having a Delta Quadrant alien species like the Hirogen or some legit threat finally make their way to the Alpha Quadrant would be pretty cool.
That'd be cool. I did like the Hirogen. They worked. They were okay.
And if you have, again, modern TV storytelling, you could make them a much more credible threat and a much more dramatic than they were in Voyager.
Which race was it that harvested people? They were scarier.
Wasn't that the Hirogen? No.
That was Hirogen were Jem'Hadar Light.
The
Saurians?
The phage was the name of the disease that they had. But
they scared the crap out of me.
Yeah, that is kind of terrifying.
Because they just keep you alive and just harvest you.
Yep. We're just going to beam your organs out of your body.
Yeah.
But we need more rainbow line lizards.
I'm going to do the looking at the internet to find out what they're called, because that's going to do my head in.
Yeah, if only there was a vast online resource we could connect into right now and figure this out. True. We should just change the name of the show to Speculating Buttholes.
What was Neelix's race called again?
Talaxians.
There we go. We just need a ship full of Talaxians.
Well, we do have that group pretty close to the Alpha Quadrant that he shoved off with at the end of the series.
Did you remember that?
Well, I'm 2 episodes away from finishing my Voyager rewatch, so I'm in the middle of that episode right now.
Commiserations.
That's the episode?
No, that was me commiserating him for watching Voyager again.
I was like, the commiserations, there's no way that's the name of that alien species.
So here's what I hope this show is going to be. And it's pretty much the opposite of everything you guys have said.
As a non-Trekkie, though, we need this insight.
I was hoping it would be the next generation equivalent to the new storyline, to the new plot. The JJs.
I've heard a lot of people saying that. Yeah.
But about that distance in the future.
So in the actual new universe?
Yeah, in the new universe, yeah.
A new Picard, a new Riker.
I mean, it didn't even have to be Picard, but yeah. You know, that sort of feel as far as what happened in the first two movies is now in the history books.
I mean, it could work. Just be completely new and something completely different. As I say in Monty Python.
My other thought was that it might be sort of immediately after the most recent film because, corruption in Starfleet equals major shakeup and new leadership. And so, the political turmoil of flipping over administration and that sort of thing. Yeah.
It would be nice to watch Beyond and then know that this series was going to pick up the pieces.
Yeah.
Not that we really know anything about Beyond yet, but because my first thought and what I always kind of wanted before they even made the announcement to bring Trek back to TV was new Trek with Sulu and the Excelsior, because is it Henry Cho? He plays Sulu. He's done TV before. Yeah. He's a recognizable face, certainly a recognizable character. We've never gotten to see Excelsior beyond 3 and a little bit of 6. The scene of him playing Captain in Into Darkness is awesome. And then you leave it wide open for Pine or Quinto or anybody else to hop on for an episode or two. I think that'd be awesome. I don't think they're going to do that, but if I was in charge, it would be Sulu and the Excelsior.
That'd be cool. I didn't think about that. Just taking off right where Beyond lets off, and just as one of the lesser known actors or less popular actors.
I can get down with that.
And then you could still explore the new versions of all these different alien races and ones we haven't seen yet.
And you could lay groundwork for, there's still going to be a Chateau Picard, so you could do things like that and nod and wink to what's come before, and you can introduce new versions of Cardassians or Ferengi or anybody. I mean, you could still do anything you want to do. But they seem pretty bound and determined. I think these 3 movies and the comics are all we're getting of that new universe. They even canceled a bunch of novels that were supposed to take place in the new universe because they didn't want them interfering with anything JJ verse.
Don't they have a 4th movie now though set to be made?
I only know about Beyond. If they've got something else, that's news to me.
I could have sworn I saw that they surprisingly already have a 4th movie on the slate, which I thought was strange.
I'm not. Well, that's the era we're living in right now. I mean, Marvel and DC have their movies lined up till forever. So
that makes me kind of mad with the way JJ approached that. Then now knowing that he's canceling outside things is because you can't just walk into a house and flip over a table and be like, now pick it up and walk away.
Pretty much. He flipped the table and then went to Star Wars.
He rewrote everyone's existence. And now he's like, nah, it didn't happen. Don't worry about it. Nah, don't worry. We'll take care of itself.
And they left everything behind him and just went to Star Wars and doesn't even care anymore.
Burnt Earth policy.
Well, he walks into Star Wars and then flips the table over there as well.
Yeah.
All of your stories and stuff never happened either.
Now pick it up.
It's true. It seems like a lost opportunity. I know some Star Trek fans want it to be Prime Universe, but people like my wife and a lot of other people I know, they watch JJ Trek and that's about it. And if it's not going to be JJ Trek, they are not going to be interested.
Yep.
Yeah.
Welcome.
And also, a good thing about if they did do it just solely in the JJ verse, there is a good parts of that. Also, it's just the redesign of the aliens and stuff like that. Because if they have to stick in the Prime universe, they might be forced to keep the way the old Klingons looked or some of the other old races. And the new versions of these things look pretty badass. And think about Andorians and how kind of silly they are by today's standards.
Yeah.
Even the ones on Enterprise, like with Jeffrey Combs. If they made a new Andorian, it could look very interesting and more realistic. And so they might be forced to not be able to do that if it was in the Prime universe, but I don't know. They could still just redesign.
Oh yeah, Andorians look ridiculous.
Yeah. There's just a lot fewer road bumps with new Trek 2. Like you've got a clean slate. And despite the fact that they've already decided to reboot and redo some things with the second movie, had to go right to Khan. But you could learn from that, I would hope, and enjoy your clean slate. Chris, have you found those aliens yet?
Vidians.
There we go.
The Hollywood Reporter is saying that the Star Trek 4 will be released in 2019.
Weird. So it'll be coming out after the series is already on TV.
Hollywood Reporter is legit too. It's not like you're getting that from comicbook.com or one of those other stupid clickbait sites.
Yeah.
So, all right then.
So that makes it must tie in then if they're doing a movie after this TV show.
Well, no,
starts.
because like I say, you pick up there were Star Trek: The Next Generation movies going on in and around Voyager and Deep Space Nine that had nothing to do with Voyager and Deep Space Nine.
That's true. Yep.
So you can, have different pots for different things.
Yeah.
And it could still be the tie-in series you talked about before, where it's still in the Prime universe, but it just takes off right where Spock leaves.
Yeah.
So that could still happen.
Yep. And the destruction of Romulus and stuff. I think there's good stuff there. And I'm sure the books have explored it. And I'm sure that segment of fan will be upset. But for people like me, I don't know what the fallout of the Dominion War is. And, then you throw in the destruction of Romulus. And there's a lot going on in the galaxy right now as far as that Prime universe is concerned. Again, ignoring the books. So I think there's some cool stuff that could be done there.
I'm forgetting completely. How was Romulus destroyed again?
Black hole.
By the red matter.
And how did the red matter get there?
It was a black hole.
Just a random...
Oh, it's just a regular black hole. They tried to stop
a black hole.
Yeah, the red matter was to
stop
stop the black hole, but they failed.
Yeah.
That's right.
It just got eaten by a black hole appeared because it's one of the largest things that can occur in the universe. Appeared behind Romulus in a split second, and they went, "Oh no!" The science doesn't work, but it's Star Trek, so the science isn't supposed to work.
Who cares?
Just the tech.
Yep.
All right, so I found my new captain, The Rock.
Bam! I would watch the shit out of that show.
And it's his character from Voyager.
Oh right, he was like a gladiator in Voyager.
If we can get The Rock, can we get Michael Chiklis in there?
Just as something. He'll be
doesn't matter what he is, like security officer, just angry and small and bald all the time.
No, the ship's counselor, Michael Chiklis, playing the loving, sharing, caring.
All right, what's
character.
wrong with you?
Yeah.
Stop moaning. Get back to your job.
The Rock would work as long as he does the people's elbow and the people's eyebrow once every episode. I'll be quite happy.
You know that they would find a reason for him to do those things, right?
Yeah. Something comes on the view screen. People's elbow. Oh, sorry, people's eyebrow. It pops up like that, and he does his smelling a fart face that he does.
Well, you got to have a ladies' man, so it could be The Rock, and you just have to raise the eyebrow, and you're like, "Yep, that's what's happening."
But he's also a Klingon. There we go.
Dude.
The Kling The Rock.
I would watch that too.
I think the forehead would get in the way of the eyebrow.
He hits it on every damn doorway going through. Oh, son of a bitch.
Oh, man. He just does all his singing in his captain's quarters because he loves to sing. Oh, can we just have Expendables as the rest of the crew?
Yeah, The Rock and 8 expendable
Jean-Claude Van Damme, Dolph Lundgren.
Oh my god.
Machete.
No, we've already got Machete and Ron Perlman there.
Oh damn,
they're already on the ship
as pack leads.
Yeah. The pack-led engineering crew.
Yes. Oh, what a great show. Jean-Claude Van Damme is obviously something important. Science officer. There we go.
Until he kills the captain to take his place.
You need Stallone as a science officer, making him say all the really difficult technobabble.
That'd be great.
The black hole is...
the thing here is not working,
Warp drive
off
center. We're not going to be able to get going in space.
Yep, I think we just made the worst Star Trek series.
See?
And of course, it will be set in the time period that everybody wants to see between Enterprise and the original series.
Oh yeah, that's what they're clamoring for.
Yeah, everybody wants to see that. Like everybody wanted to see Enterprise.
And the main villain will be the Ferengis.
Yeah, the whip, the old whip, the whips.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, original Ferengi.
Can you see a Klingon rock fighting a Ferengi with a whip?
Yeah, and with Michael Chiklis crying in the corner.
And Mike Chiklis crying in the corner. Oh my god, what a good show! I don't think it gets much worse than that.
Voyager.
And also, Betty White is a security officer. Yeah. There you go.
Betty White.
Yes.
I would watch that.
I think she's running 10 forward now, isn't she?
Did you say science officer?
No, security officer.
Security officer. That's better. Yeah, yeah. Just stood behind the captain at all times, looking stern.
Betty White. Is Angela Lansbury still alive?
I'll check.
No.
I want the little girl from the
no.
Dolphin to be in this series so she can transform into whatever monster they need.
Oh, yeah, that'd be good.
Angela Lansbury's still alive. She's
No way.
She's 90. We can get her. I'm telling you, Star Trek Murder, She Wrote. I said that. I called it.
Star Trek. No, Star Trek Cabot Cove.
Yes, and then also Maggie Smith will be in there.
Holy shit, a whole starship filled with very old British actors.
That'd be perfect for CBS.
I think Gates McFadden's close enough to be on this show now, too, right?
Yes.
That's true. She'll be the young one on the show.
Yes.
I have her autograph.
You do? Did you get that at
New York Comic Con? Yeah.
That's right.
I got it on my Dark Crystal poster.
Did she do like choreography for Dark Crystal?
Yeah, she was
or
like
something?
assistant choreographer for Dark Crystal.
Nothing Star Trek related at all. Just Dark Crystal work.
I think we killed this topic. I think that's what we're experiencing right now.
I think we did.
I do like the idea of her being the Blanche of the group, though. That's fine with me.
Whenever anyone mentions like Murder, She Wrote, I just start thinking about the poor inhabitants of Cabot Cove.
What's this Cabot Cove? Is this a British show?
That's where she lives.
Oh.
That's where she lives.
Yeah,
the highest,
Jarman,
the highest murder rate of anywhere ever.
Yeah, why there's so many murders in Cabot Cove.
You've got Detroit in the 90s, got nothing on Cabot Cove. At least one person dies every week there, and the population's only 350.
All right, so I guess we've covered everything we could possibly cover, right?
Thanks for taking the time, experts, to discuss this with us.
Yes.
That's sort of what happened.
If you want to comment on this, be sure to email Star Trek Theories at aplayonnerds.com.
Yeah, that sounds good. We'll set that up.
So, Ryan, where can people get in contact with you if they want to agree with your theories or yell at you?
Oh, either was welcome. Positivelynerdy.com is the website and the podcast, and Twitter is probably the best ways to reach me at positivelynerdy.
Awesome. And what about you, Galactico Presidente?
If you want to try and get my name right, you can find me on Twitter at Chris Can't Fly.
Beautiful. Or listen to him being angry on 10 Forward every week.
Yeah. If you want me to come and be angry on your podcast, let me know. And I'll probably say no, because I'm a cunt.
Yep, accurate.
Well, that sure was a fun interview, wasn't it?
Yeah, thanks again to Ryan and Chris for joining us. That was a lot of fun. All right, now we're going to move on to, of course, the ending of every show, trailer reviews.
Here at Play on Nerds, we have developed an interesting rating system to bring to you our ideas on the trailers we're about to review. At the low end of the scale, we have Burn It, where we think you should find every copy you can get your hands on and throw it into a barrel fire.
Kill it with fire. And our next step is Drunk Watch, which means that, yeah, I'd watch this movie. It'd be entertaining if I was under the influence of some kind of substance of some kind. But if I was sober, probably not going to check this thing out.
Nope, not going to see it. Next, we've got We'll See, which is maybe we just don't know enough about this movie to tell what the hell it's going to be.
Could be good, could be bad, not sure. And our next category would be Get the Couch Ready, which means I'm definitely going to check this movie out at home. Wouldn't necessarily pay the big bucks of seeing it in theaters, but I'm definitely going to watch it at home, so get that couch ready.
After that, we have Take a Look, where we are recommending for you, our viewers and listeners, to check out this movie and check out the trailer and tell us what you think about it. We wanted to see what you guys think.
It looks pretty good, but we're not quite sure yet.
Yeah, take a look. Yeah. Let us know.
And for our final and best category, we have Shut Up and Take My Money.
Shut up and take my money.
This looks so awesome, we're gonna see it.
That's where we cannot wait to give Hollywood bigwigs all of the money that we have earned at work to go see a film for $47. We're so excited, we just have to go see it. We don't have a choice.
And that is our A Play on Nerds official copyrighted trademark system for rating our movie trailers.
And we have some pretty decent trailers this week, don't we,
Yeah,
Steve?
we really do. Sometimes we bring you duds. I'm not going to lie to you.
We can't help it sometimes.
Especially when we were doing 3 trailers, there was always at least one dud.
Yeah, I think bringing it down to 2 was a good idea.
Yeah. No, less duds.
Yeah.
So, Jarman, you go ahead and pick the one you want to talk about. Go for it.
I'll go for the one I'm less excited about first, which is Hateful Eight.
Okay.
Hateful Eight is the new Quentin Tarantino movie. It had some controversy about it because a long time ago, someone leaked the script online for whatever reason. And that pissed off Quentin Tarantino. So he said he wasn't going to make the movie anymore. And then a year and a half later, he's like, I'm going to make it. No problem. And so he made some changes to the script, he claims, so it won't be the same one that leaked online.
Now what make a man brave a blizzard and kill in cold blood? I'm sure I don't know. You'd be surprised what a man would do.
Starting to see pictures, ain't you?
Got room for one more?
I ain't too anxious to be handing out rides.
Real trusting fella, huh?
Not so much. Ain't no way I'm spending a couple of nights under a roof with somebody I don't know who they are. So who are you? Okay, everybody, hear this. I'm taking this woman to hang. Reward's $10,000. That money's mine, boys.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Hold on! You think I'm in cahoots with that fella or her?
That's my problem, boy. I don't know. One of them fellas will kill everybody in here. Now we're talking!
Let's slow it down. Let's slow it way down.
When you get to hell, tell them Daisy sent you.
You gon' die now! No one said this job's supposed to be easy.
Nobody said it's supposed to be that hard, neither.
But yeah, I mean, what'd you think of this trailer?
You know, I at first I couldn't, with the first trailer, I just could not tell what the hell this movie was going to be about. I knew it was a Western. You know, I trust Tarantino to do a Western, especially after Django. I love Django.
Me
Holy
too.
crap.
I did like Django.
If he only did Westerns from now on, I'd be okay with that. And the premise of an actual lawman taking this bounty and then going into a place that should be abandoned and finding 6 other people there that are obviously there for the bounty too. I love it. I think it's a pretty fun way to put a story together.
Yeah, and they kind of, I guess, say somehow or for some reason have to work together for some reason. But yet at the same time, they're all trying to kill each other. So it's an interesting plot line.
Yeah. I like all the actors in it. It's got an all-star cast, some great people. I'm sort of sad that Christopher Waltz isn't in there.
Oh, I know. I just need to put him in every movie. That'd be great. Christopher Waltz.
I was trying to think of the way they could do it is because he's a bounty hunter, essentially, a bail bondsman in Django.
Mm-hmm.
Is at the end of the movie, one of these 8 finally becomes triumphant and takes her off, and he kills them both.
Oh, they could do that. It could still happen.
All of his universes are connected, pretty much.
It's true. There's a big theory about that.
So if Christoph Waltz showed up right at the end and capped off the victor and took the bounty, I think that would be perfect.
That'd be a perfect ending. And plus, I'm just happy to see Kurt Russell back in things because I always liked Kurt Russell. I thought he was a great action movie guy. He's relatable, but yet still can pull off the action movie thing. He's getting a little old now, but I mean, I wish the past 10 years he would have been in more stuff because he's great.
Yeah. So I'm excited for it. I'm gonna give it a take a look. I'm encouraging everyone to take a look.
I gave it a we'll see because I was kind of underwhelmed by that trailer, but I know I'll see better stuff in the next trailer. There has to be. So
true.
There you go.
All right. So now I'm going to talk about the one that highly anticipated film in the nerd community. I don't think anyone can deny that. And that is Warcraft, the movie. There was a teaser that came out, I feel like a week ago, and just a few days ago, they released the actual trailer.
For years, our world has been at peace. But something is coming. I can feel it. Dark forces are upon us.
Find these beasts, or whatever they are.
Our world is dying. There is nothing to go back to. If our people are to survive, we must make a home here. Whatever happens.
If we do not unite, our world will perish.
This doesn't need to happen. There is one who may help us.
For orcs, there is no other life but war. No, but with the humans' help, there could be.
Why are you here?
To save our people.
Can we trust him?
The beasts. They should all be destroyed.
Are you sure about that? We'll protect the kingdom, you and I.
You'd side with the humans against your own kind.
This is suicide.
We have no choice. We should attack with full force.
Whatever you plan to do it now!
In this trailer, I am personally excited for what they're not showing us.
Like a magic per se?
No magic, really. Mm-hmm. They didn't show us any races except for orcs and humans, but the other ones have to be there.
We hope so, anyway.
I mean, they will. They'd be a fool not to cash in on that.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, there's going to be a common enemy that may be the Scourge, the undead, or could be like the demon orcs. I can't remember their name. I'm excited for this film.
I think it's the demon orcs, looks like, or just bad orcs that are not trying to mesh with humans. And so the good orcs go with the humans and fight the bad orcs. So it's kind of like, that's why it's just Warcraft. It's like the first game where it's just orcs and humans, you know? So
there were elves in the first game, weren't there?
I can't remember. It's a long time ago.
But I'm excited.
I was surprised. I think the dialogue and everything is good, and it looks like it actually is going to be a decent movie because everyone thinks video game movies are crap ever since Street Fighter. So
now, what I will say is, I hope that is not the final treatment of the CGI.
I don't
think it is this early.
It looks very cartoony.
Yeah, it just doesn't fit right.
It's very weird and cartoony. I was like, I hope that's not what it's going to be. I wish they would have just gone practical makeover at this point, you know?
I mean, there's probably more layers they're going to add, skin filters and shade things that they're still working on. It's still a long way away.
When does it come out?
Summer 2016.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because I know it's so long in the process. Maybe it's because all the CGI involved. Maybe it's just that's what's been taking it so long. So
true.
But it's also Blizzard related, so everything Blizzard related takes forever.
So just because I've already given them so much, I'm going to give this one a shut up and take my money.
Yep, I did too. Because I'm not going to lie, I'm going to see it in theaters. It looks like a big
I've
movie.
given them a monthly subscription for like 9.5 out of the last 11 years.
Oh, gosh,
I'll give them this one too.
Yep. So let us know what you think, people. Was it too cartoony? Was it look good? Let us know.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us on another installment of A Play on Nerds. Once again, another thank you to Chris and Ryan.
Absolutely.
And the Positively Nerdy podcast and the 10 Forward podcast, who I'm sure will be mentioned on. And if you haven't seen those, and if you haven't heard those and you love Star Trek, go check them out. Yeah, and Positively Nerdy does a lot of comic book reviews. They do movie reviews with him and his wife do great movie reviews. They seem to watch a lot of movies. So that's a lot of fun. Also check out this week will be Paul Wright and Sean Vanderloo's podcast, Sci-Fi Waffle. Will be doing also their own Star Trek series discussion. So check that out as well, because they're another friend of the podcast. Make sure you check us out on all our social media. Check us out on Twitch. This next week, Patrick is going to be playing Fallout 4 pretty much all week. So check out our Twitch channel. He's going to be streaming that all the time. Also, we had a new show on YouTube that came out. It's a video podcast we'll be doing probably monthly. Me and Patrick and Steve will join us on there occasionally as well. Just doing a kind of nerdy news roundup type of thing. But it's a video podcast with some graphics, and you get to see my mug on there too. So, and versus our regular nerdy news, it's going to be much more upcoming event and current nerdy news as far as and like entertainment stuff. We do a lot more science news on here, but you can check it out on there. But thanks a lot, and stay nerdy, my friends. Thanks again, Internet.